For 1,000 years, the castles of Wales have stood strong, watching over and protecting a countryside poised for this exact moment. The UK debut of the Professional Fighters League at Motor Point Arena in downtown Cardiff. Welcome to the PFL weigh-ins, semi-final action in the welterweight and heavyweight divisions. Our welterweight playoff bracket looks like this. Rory MacDonald, the Red King, secured the #1 seed. He's taking on an alternate in Delano Taylor, who steps in for Magomed Umalatov, who is not able to obtain a visa to fight in the UK. In the 2-3 matchup, Sadibou Sy, his 4th trip to the PFL playoffs. He hopes this one will be the charm, taking on the fast-rising newcomer, Carlos Leal. And in our heavyweight playoffs, Ante, Delia, looking to make a repeat trip to the championship bout. He'll take on the problem, Renan Ferreira. And the 5-6 matchup brought to you because of injury and an unfortunate situation with the visa for Denis Goltsov. Matheus Scheffel coming off a victory over last season's champion, and Juan Adams. Welcome, fight fans, to the weigh-ins for PFL playoff action in Cardiff, Wales. The Professional Fighters League very happy to be across the pond for the very first time in our young company's history. When you think of the sport of mixed martial arts, you don't often hear the word playoffs. Why am I talking about the playoffs? Because the Professional Fighters League does things just a little bit differently. Let me explain for you how this format works. We have 10 fighters in each division, 6 different divisions. 2 regular season fights for each fighter, 3 points for wins, and bonus points for a finish in any round. So the top 4 fighters on points in each division will advance to the playoffs. That's, of course, where we are right now in our season. And the winners tomorrow night will advance to a $1 million championship bout. For the welterweights and the heavyweights, it all comes down to this. Sean O'Connell and the legendary Randy Couture, the equally legendary Kenny Florian, and a very exciting fight card lined up for you, including our main event, Rory MacDonald, who now faces an opponent change, Delano Taylor, stepping in. Let's talk about Rory. He's had some ups and downs inside the PFL Smart Cage. He wants to finish this season strong.
Yeah, that's right. You know, in his first fight of the season, he looked amazing, was very sharp everywhere, quickly took Brett Cooper to the ground, made quick work of him, had excellent positioning from there. You see him in the mount, landing some excellent ground and pound, was able to follow up, take the back, and land that very clean rear naked submission. I don't think he took any damage in that fight at all. And this one against Sadibou Sy, he didn't have that same level of success, wasn't able to take him down, and he felt like he was a little bit too one-dimensional, wasn't able to adapt. He's gonna have to adapt tonight.
Well, he's gonna have to adapt against the guy who's young and hungry and incredibly talented. Delano Taylor says, my time is now.
He is thrilled to be in this situation, and he's earned this spot. Came through our Challenger Series, had a victory but didn't get the contract, but was willing to step up into the alternate situation in our regular season bouts. Now here he is against Joao Zeferino, one of our semifinalists in previous seasons. He had a great outing, showed great hand skills, very well-rounded game, trains out of Southern Florida and Sanford MMA, which is a great gym.
Only 25 years of age and already on this stage. He says, just wait and watch. All right, now let's talk about the other half of our welterweight bracket. Sadibou Sy, he was fighting in the PFL in season 1 back when I won a championship. He was a middleweight then. Yeah. He's had some success at welterweight as well. He's coming off the biggest win of his mixed martial arts career, but he says he still has a lot to prove, including that he could win a championship and the $1 million associated with it. Sadibou Sy's been training at a place you may have heard of, Randy.
No, never. You know, he got beat last year by Magomed Kirimov. solely got out-wrestled. He's like, this is something I have to fix. He decided to do his camps this season at Extreme Couture to try and shore up that wrestling. Here he is against Alex Sokin in a rematch. He had a great outing here, showed those long-range weapons, both his hands and feet. At 6'3", really brings it. And here's some of that new wrestling prowess that he's developed and added to his skill set. He feels like this is the fight of his life, and he's very excited for his opportunity this season.
Well, quite frankly, Sadibou Sy is going to have the fight of his life, because his opponent comes in on an 11-fight win streak. He's not as well known as some of the other fighters in our welterweight division, but he's every bit as talented. Carlos Leal is an issue for anybody.
Yeah, 100%. They call him the Lion. Absolutely fights like a lion. And out of all the welterweights out there right now, for me, he's been the most consistent as far as excitement, aggressiveness, and executing game plans. We saw him first back, Sean, of course, in the PFL Challenger Series, where he was extremely dominant. Then we saw him against Ray Cooper, a former champion here, two-time champion, and he dominated him as well, whether it was with wrestling or striking. This was a Carlos Leal that meant business and wanted to send a statement to everyone in the division. He's in the semifinal, and he's going to be ready.
All right, so that's the welterweight semifinal bracket. Now let's talk about the heavyweights. Heavyweight, the only division in mixed martial arts that Kenny Florian never competed.
I'm working on it, though. I'm working on it.
Very early in my career, I did. Randy obviously was incredibly accomplished as a heavyweight, and Ante Delia wants to punch his ticket to a second straight championship. Does the Croatian have what it takes to take home $1 million this year?
Well, here's a guy out of Zagreb, Croatia. Trains with somebody you may have heard of if you're an aficionado of MMA, Mirko Krokop, a judo practitioner, but make no mistake about it, this guy will let his hands go. He's not afraid to go toe-to-toe with anybody, let his hands and feet go. He's great on the ground. His ground and pound is on point. You know, he had to suffer a loss last season against Bruno Capoloza in the finals. He's on track to make the finals this season and looks to be sharp. A lot of people think this matchup with Renan Ferreira should be the final, but here we are in the semifinals.
I'm going to recommend for you, if you're not aware of what Ante Delia is capable of, go back and watch last season's championship. Go find that fight, an epic back-and-forth battle where he came up just short against the champion Bruno Capoloza. But let's talk about the test in front of him tomorrow night. It's a 6'8" problem. They call Renan Ferreira Problema for good reason.
Yeah, absolutely. He's an absolute monster out there. You know, has a crazy reach. He can reach out and touch it with his legs or his hands. Whatever it is, he's trying to knock you out, and he can do it early. He's also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Now, this was a tremendous performance this season, the quickest knockout that we saw here in the heavyweight division. Then we saw him get taken down by Clinton Abreu and controlled. So, which Renan Ferreira are we going to see? His takedown game is going to have to be on point defensively against someone like Ante Delia.
Yeah, the game plan for Ante Delia may just be to do what Clinton Abreu did, but Renan Ferreira is very aware of that and says he shored up the weaknesses. But that last fight was only 6 or 7 weeks ago. Is that enough time? All right, the other half of the heavyweight bracket, Matheus Scheffel. And Matheus Scheffel is a guy that a lot of folks thought he deserves to be here. He stepped in as an alternate, but he beat Bruno Capoloza, the Season 2 champion, and he did so impressively. It was a decision, but it wasn't close. Bruno Capoloza was a very, very tough, very prepared, very fast heavyweight, and Matheus Scheffel put it on him back.
Here's Matheus Scheffel, who's a 3-time Muay Thai champion in Brazil. This guy has amazing striking. He's going to plod forward and stay in someone's face. He lets his hands go very, very well. Here he is against former champ Bruno Capoloza, just letting the combinations flow. He looked very, very sharp in this as an alternate, and he earned his spot in this semifinal by beating Bruno Capoloza. Let's see if he can get it done tonight.
And he takes on Juan Adams, who steps in. Again, visa issues with Dennis Goldsov. Juan Adams comes in. And Juan Adams has only been inside the smart cage one time. He was very successful in his first outing, and he's looking to build on that momentum. Yeah,
Juan Adams is another huge heavyweight, a guy who has to cut down to make the 265-pound limit. He comes from that wrestling background, and that might be the kryptonite for someone like Matheus Scheffel. Not only that, he showed durability, toughness, and an amazing chin in that performance right there over Sam K. And again, he showed that he is well-conditioned. He was talking about all the hard work that he's been putting into this. He is confident in this fight.
All right, so those are our playoff fights. Again, that's on ESPN and simulcast on ESPN+. But wait, there's more. To whet your appetite for those playoff fights, we actually have a qualifier. Nathan Kelly and Ben Ellis will be facing off in a featherweight qualifier for our PFL Europe series, which of course begins in 2023. You can see the odds here. Rory MacDonald is a favorite over Delano Taylor. Delia Ferreira, that is a pick'em. Juan Adams right now a favorite over Matheus Scheffel, and Sadibou Sy a very slight favorite over Carlos Leal. Ellis is the favorite in that qualifier bout, and he's the Welsh local, which means this building at Motor Point will get loud when he steps into the smart cage. Action begins at noon Eastern exclusively on ESPN Plus with our early card. You can see heavy European representation. Some of these are showcase bouts, a couple of potential PFL Europe qualifiers as well. And we'll take a look at the odds. No odds, excuse me. And then our PFL nightcap. After our playoff bouts, we'll go back exclusively to ESPN Plus. Fleury and Salomon, a little PFL Europe qualifier action, some at lightweight, at bantamweight, at light heavyweight. Fleury, Barboric, and Francesco Nuzzi, the favorites there. All right, Kenny Florian, I gotta ask you, this is our first trip across the pond as the Professional Fighters League. Obviously, welterweights and heavyweights looking to punch their ticket to a $1 million championship final. And a bunch of guys, high stakes on the card for the nightcap and for the undercard, because you do the right thing, you find yourself on a path potentially to that $1 million championship.
This is a huge opportunity for a lot of these guys who have been looking forward to something exactly like this. They've been preparing their whole lives for something like this. And we have a lot of fantastic potential here, guys that are trying to make it into the PFL qualifiers, and to see the sport and how it's grown here in Europe. And I know, having been here before, the fans here in the UK are just rabid.
Well, and in Cardiff specifically, Randy, this is a big boxing town, this is a big rugby town, this is a big MMA town. Now the fans, I'm expecting the fans to show out tomorrow night.
Yeah, especially with a couple of Welsh fighters on the card. They're absolutely going to go nuts here. I can't wait to experience it. Having fought here in Manchester in the UK, the fans are rabid about this sport. It's really exploded here in Europe.
Without further ado, let's talk about the first fight of the night. This will be a light heavyweight showcase bout. Lee Chadwick out of England, Przemysław Michala, the Polish bear. And we told the folks here in the UK, we need the best looking Englishman you've got to be our ring announcer for PFL UK. They sent us Andy Shepherd.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. The other guy wasn't available, but great to be here nonetheless. And look, it is hotter than a Welsh dragon's breath outside today, and it's only going to increase in temperature as we head towards tomorrow night, as for the first time, the PFL Smart Cage arrives on European soil. Now, you can catch the action at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPN+. Now, let's welcome the man who will oversee proceedings this evening, the President of Fighter Operations, Mr. Ray Scheffel. Introducing first, fighting out the blue corner and coming from Alexandrov, Poland, Przemysław Michala. Official weight, 205 pounds. And fighting out the red corner, hailing from Liverpool, England, Lee Chadwick. Official weight, 205 pounds.
Up next in a showcase bout in the heavyweight division, Hawnie Marks took this one on short notice against Szymon Bajor.
Fighting out of Rzeszów, Poland, Szymon Bajor. Official weight, 236 pounds. And his opponent, fighting out of Natal, Brazil, Hawnie Marks. Official weight, 245 pounds.
From the big bodies, we head down to the welterweight division. Chris Mixon and Christian Stegenberg.
Introducing first in this welterweight showcase fight, fighting out of Gävle, Sweden, Christian Stegenberg. Official weight, 170 pounds. And his adversary, fighting out of Port Orange, Florida, and representing Ukraine, Chris Mixon. Official weight, 170 pounds.
Next up, a light heavyweight showcase bout. Mick Stanton and Marcin Wojcik.
In the blue corner, fighting out of Pila, Poland, Marcin Wojcik. Official weight, 205 pounds. In the red corner, fighting out of Liverpool, England, Mick Stanton. Official weight, 204 pounds.
Action continues on ESPN Plus with a showcase bout at lightweight. The Welsh local Joshua O'Connor taking on Emran Sahizada.
Introducing first in this lightweight showcase contest, fighting out of Oslo, Norway, Emran Sahizada. Official weight, 155 pounds. And his opponent, fighting out of Swansea, Wales, Joshua O'Connor. Official weight, 154 pounds.
This next bout will be a qualifier for PFL Europe coming in 2023. Mokhtar Benkachi, Francesco Nuzzi.
The following contest is a 2023 PFL Europe qualifier in the bantamweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of Almere, Bari, Italy, Francesco Nuzzi. Official weight, 135 pounds. And his opponent, fighting out of Marseille, France, Mokhtar Benkachi. Official weight, 134 pounds.
Next up at 155 pounds, Wojto Barborek, Radu Maxi.
Fighting out of the blue corner, from Turin, Italy, Radu Maxi. Official weight, 155 pounds. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, from Nitra, Slovakia, Wojto Barborek. Official weight, 154 pounds.
Another PFL Europe qualifier bout. Will Fleury, Anthony Salomon.
Introducing first, from Turin, Italy, from Leal, France, Anthony Salomon. Official weight, 203 pounds. And his opponent, fighting out of Dublin, Ireland, Will Fleury. Official weight, 205 pounds.
Another European qualifier, this time at featherweight, Nathan Kelly and Ben Ellis.
Introducing first in this featherweight contest, fighting out of Porthcawl, Wales, Ben Ellis. Official weight, 145 pounds. And his opponent, fighting out of Dublin, Ireland, Nathan Kelly. Official weight, 146 pounds.
And from there, the real business begins. Sadibou Sy, Carlos Leal. Andy Shepherd, to you.
Thanks, Sean. Yes, the athletes in these next 4 contests will all be competing for a place in the 2022 PFL Championship, where we'll not only fight for the belt, but also a cool $1 million. Introducing first, in the blue corner, fighting out of Curitiba, Brazil, he is the number 3 seed, Carlos Leal. Official weight, 171 pounds. And his opponent, fighting out of Stockholm, Sweden, he is the number 2 seed, Sadibou Sy. Official weight, 171 pounds.
This is a playoff fight, so let's take a look at our tale of the tape. Sadibou Sy is 7 years the senior of Carlos Leal. He is also 4 inches taller. His reach advantage is significant in both the arms and the legs, 8 inches and 7 inches, respectively. All right, Kenny Florian, let's talk about Carlos Leal. Sadibou Sy has been here in the semifinals in the PFL before. Carlos Leal, he was on the Challenger Series not so long ago, and he said, I belong here, does he?
He's proven that he belongs here, no question about it. You know, Sadibou Sy is such a technician out there, whereas Carlos Leal is really a brawler. He's gonna force Sadibou to fight. He's gonna get in his face, force the fight, whether it's takedowns or striking. This guy is going to bring it.
The venerable Gareth Davies is standing by with Carlos Leal. Gareth?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. O'Connell. Oh, well, I'm here with Eduardo, our translator, and also, obviously, Carlos Leal. Now, you've got real momentum coming into this fight. Does those 3 wins give you an advantage against Sadibou Sy?
Você está com grande momento atrás de você aí, com 3 grandes vitórias. Você acha que isso te dá uma vantagem contra o Sadibou Sy?
Com certeza. Me dá uma motivação ainda maior em manter a sequência de vitórias.
Absolutely. It gives me even more motivation to keep up with this winning streak.
Tell me about the dangers that he brings and maybe the dangers you bring to him.
Quais são alguns dos perigos que ele apresenta e alguns dos perigos que você apresenta a ele?
Os perigos que ele apresenta são os mesmos, a parte de luta em pé dele, chutes e socos. Eu já tenho um jogo muito maior, um arsenal de armas muito maior, né? Tanto na parte de pé, como na parte de chão e na parte de grappling.
Well, his dangers are mostly the same every single fight. He's got a nasty kick, and he's great striking with his hands too. I feel like I got a lot more tools in my toolbox. My arsenal's a lot vaster, and I'm more comfortable with my grappling, with my striking, and my jiu-jitsu as well.
Best of luck. Back to you, Mr. O'Connell.
Thank you, sir. And Randy Couture, that brings us to Sadibou Sy. As I told Kenny and everyone else, we've seen this movie before with the Swedish Denzel, but he says the outcome will be different this time. How does he guarantee that?
Well, last season in the semifinals, he lost to Magomed Kirimov, one of our former champions. He knew he got out-wrestled, and it literally boiled down to that glaring weakness. He spent this year and all his camps in the U.S. training at Extreme Couture, trying to shore that weakness up. The Rory MacDonald fight was the fight of his life, according to him. He showed those wrestling skills. Actually had a takedown of his own, which I think surprised everybody. This guy's an amazing striker, and now he's added some pretty solid wrestling skills to his skill set.
And Sadibou is standing by with Gareth. Gareth?
Well, thank you, from three of the best-looking men presenting in MMA to one of the best-looking men in MMA, I just told me, can you say that on air, please? Look, have you got momentum with victory over Rory MacDonald in the last fight?
I believe so, but I wouldn't say that that's part of it. But my momentum comes from my workload, the time I put in the gym, and my dedication and my focus.
He says you're predictable, Carlos Leal, when I spoke to him just now. How predictable are you going to be tomorrow night in here?
Well, we just have to wait and see. I have a couple of things that I'm going to try out that I think I'm going to be... that I think gonna work good during the fight, so we just have to wait and see.
You've got an amazing backstory, an amazing narrative that the fans must learn about, but where and how to win $1 million, how would that change your life and the life of your family?
Yeah, it would obviously do a lot, but for me, I'm trying to not focus too much about that. I'm trying to just focus on my next fight, and after that, obviously the next fight, and you know, the money and the $1 million prize money, it will sort this out.
We can't wait to see your fight tomorrow night. Sean, back to you.
Thank you, Sadibou and Gareth. And the next fight will take place in the heavyweight division. Matheus Scheffel, Juan Adams. Andy, back to you.
Introducing first in this heavyweight semi-final contest, fighting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, he is the number 6 seed, Juan Adams. Official weight, 265 pounds. Fighting out of Curitiba, Brazil, he is the number 5 seed, Matheus Scheffel. Official weight, 259 pounds.
Here's our tail of the tape for this heavyweight semifinal. Juan Adams is 1 year older and 3 inches taller. He weighed in at the heavyweight limit. Reach advantage in arms and legs both favor Juan Adams. Kenny Florian, you saw it there on the tail of the tape. Juan Adams is humongous. You already referenced the fact that he cuts down to that heavyweight limit, and it's not just a couple of pounds. He suffers like the lightweights do to get down to 265 pounds. He might be 285 or 290 tomorrow night on fight day. What do you expect from Juan Adams? Can he use the size to his advantage?
I definitely think it can be a factor, you know, especially for a guy who has a great takedown game, loves to work his ground and pound. Carrying all of that weight will definitely wear on you. Juan Adams might have that kryptonite from Matheus Scheffel's very good striking game.
And Juan Adams is with maybe the only man in the building who has a larger presence than Juan himself. Gareth Davies?
Well, Sean, I feel tiny right now because I've got this giant standing next to me. Juan Adams, what does it mean to you to be fighting here in Cardiff, the land of my fathers?
It means the world to me. I've never traveled to Europe, really. I've been to Iceland and Norway once very briefly, but to come out here for work and just means the world to me, you know.
You look in fantastic shape. We all know that one jab can change it in the heavyweight division in MMA. Is your wrestling going to be key in this contest as well?
Yeah, I really do think my wrestling is going to be key in this contest. You know, with heavyweight, everyone's got knockout power, so big thing is it comes to our skills in other areas, and my threat of always being able to get a takedown and smother my opponents is what really has carried me thus far.
Well, I'm glad it's him, not me. Have a good one, big man. Back to you, Sean. Cheers.
You can see, Randy, how calm Juan Adams is when he walked out onto the scale. He's having fun, and that's kind of his approach. And Matheus Scheffel is a big-time problem. He's got power in both hands. We saw the technique that goes with that power. As you heard Juan Adams, it's about the skill. Well, Matheus showed us against a former champion that he's got the skills as well, but can he keep it standing?
Well, on paper, this is a classic striker versus wrestler matchup. It's going to be very interesting to see who has their way. Matheus Scheffel's a 3-time Muay Thai champ in Brazil, and he showed that striking against Bruno Capolosa, last season's champion. He's going to plod forward, use his feet, use his hands, and let those combinations go. We'll see if he can keep this thing standing and get it done.
We'll see what Matheus has to say about the matchup. Gareth?
Well, first of all, Matheus, welcome to the dais. You said speak slowly to you, so I will speak slowly, sir. How?
Not so good.
I think it'll be fine for this. How important is it for you to stop his wrestling so that you can use your strong power and stand up?
I don't think he have a good wrestling for me. That's the answer for this question, sir. He don't have a wrestling for me.
Well, it's an answer we're taking right now. What does it mean to you to be in this tournament at the semi-final stage? You didn't know before, now you're in. Are you just hyped for this?
Sir, I think a PFL is the tournament that dreams come true, you know what I mean? I lost the first fight, and then they put me to fight against the champion. I win the champion, and now I'm here, you know? I got a fight with 2 weeks, short notice, but I don't care, you know? I'm ready. I'm born to this.
I feel you. Short notice, dreams come true. Go and make it happen. Thank you. Back to you guys.
Matheus Scheffel coming off a big-time upset. Can he continue with that momentum? And how about this heavyweight semifinal? Ante Delia, Renan Ferreira. Andy, bring him out.
Introducing first, fighting out of Porangatu, Brazil. He is the number 3 seed, Renan Ferreira. Official weight, 257 pounds. And his opponent, fighting out of Zagreb, Croatia. He is the number 2 seed, Ante, Delia. Official weight, 242 pounds.
I don't know how often in mixed martial arts you're going to see numbers like this on a tail of the tape. Both been 32. Ante Delia is enormous at 6'5", but Renan Ferreira is a full 6 feet 8 inches tall, 242 to 257 in the weights, and the reach advantage in the arms and legs, of course, favors the giant Renan Ferreira. All right, we've seen that Renan Ferreira is not only one of the biggest mixed martial artists in this heavyweight division, he's one of the best athletes. If you haven't seen the backflip in celebration of his first win this year, go watch it. A man that size is not supposed to move like that. But let's tell like it is. He was exposed in his last fight, controlled from the top by Kleitson Abreu. Does Ante Delia do the same thing?
I think if you're looking at that fight, you see the blueprint of how to beat someone like Ferreira and where he's vulnerable. And I think Ferreira kind of accepted that takedown and was trying to play the ground game. And he just needs to utilize that athleticism and try to get back to his feet where he's going to be more dangerous. And I think that's where he can finish the fight against someone like Delia.
Renan Ferreira is a problem for everybody. We'll see if he's a problem for Gareth Davies.
Well, thankfully, gents, Eduardo's between us, so there won't be any trouble here on the Friday nights. The Giant is next to me. Eduardo's here. What were you saying to Ante up there when you faced off just now?
O que você estava falando pro Ante lá em cima agora?
Desejando boa sorte, que a gente vai fazer lutão, vai ser guerra.
I was wishing him the best of luck. We're going to put on a hell of a fight. It's going to be a war.
You're responsible for the 2 fastest finishes in PFL history. Are we going to get another fast finish from you tomorrow night?
Você é responsável por as duas dois nocautes mais rápidos do peso pesado da história do PFL. Amanhã vai ter mais um assim, desse tipo?
Com certeza, todo momento vou estar buscando o nocaute, buscando a vitória. Esse é o meu jeito de lutar.
Absolutely. I'm coming for the finish. I'm coming for the win every single second while I'm inside the cage. That's my style.
And when this is over, I'm coming for you, Sean, so watch out.
Gareth, probably less of a problem than Renan Ferreira. I think I might actually have a reach advantage for once. Let's talk about Ante Delia. This is a guy, he also has had some ups and downs inside the cage, but the downs were a while ago because this Croatian has done everything necessary to make himself a formidable factor in the heavyweight division. A lot of people say it's all about him at 265 pounds now in the PFL. How does he get past that man, though?
Well, I think we saw Kleitson Abreu kind of set that blueprint. He's a judo practitioner. We haven't seen him have to use that very much, but his takedown skills are there. He's not afraid to let his hands go, but against a 6'8" guy like this that poses the problem he does, he's gonna have to punch his way into that clinch and find a way to put this fight on the ground.
What does Ante Delia think of this semifinal matchup? He'll tell Gareth. To you, sir.
Thank you very much, and I'm joined by Ante's brother here who's going to translate for us. Your Brazilian opponent is saying it's going to be a fast war tomorrow night. What do you make of that?
On misli da će, Ferreira misli da će sutra biti ko brzi rat.
Pa ne znam što on očekiva, ja očekivam tešku borbu, znam da je dobar i daću sve od sebe da pobjedim. Biću agresivan, stisnuću ga pa ćemo vidjeti ko će pobjediti.
I don't know what he want and what he expect, but I will win tomorrow, and I don't know. That's it.
Give us your prediction on how you finish him tomorrow, then, because it won't be by decision, will it?
Šta misliš kako će sutra pobijediti?
A mislim da borba neće ići na odluku, mislim da nabit ću mu presjek, bit ću agresivan i pokušat ću završiti borbu što prije.
I will be aggressive tomorrow, and I will put the pressure on him, and I think it will be fast win for me.
Thank you very much, gents. I don't think this is going to be a 15-minute fight. Mirko Krokop is over with him as well, by the way.
Yeah, Krokop not stepping into the smart cage, but Ante Delia brings a lot of those same skills. And in our welterweight main event, Rory MacDonald and Delano Taylor. Andy, one more time.
The following contest is a welterweight semi-final match. In the blue corner, fighting out of Miami, Florida, and representing Jamaica, he is the number 5 seed, Delano Taylor. Official weight, 169 pounds. And in the red corner, fighting out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, he is the number 1 seed, Rory MacDonald. Official weight, 171 pounds.
Here's our tail of the tape. Rory MacDonald is the older fighter. It's Delano Taylor, who's 3 inches taller. Rory weighed in at the welterweight limit. Delano had a little wiggle room. Reach advantage favors Taylor in the arms and the legs. All right, well, in our last welterweight semifinal, I talked about a guy who started this season on the Challenger Series and fought his way all the way to the semifinal. And Delano Taylor, we also saw him fight on the Challenger Series, and he too is in a semifinal. Did he learn enough in the process to beat a guy like Rory MacDonald?
You know, he says he did, and he lost in the regular season of Magomed Kiramov, one of our former champions. He said he walked into that fight feeling the hype and giving him too much respect. He's not going to make that same mistake tomorrow night against Rory MacDonald.
Delano Taylor is with Gareth Davis.
We were just talking about that off-air, gentlemen, about opportunities like this, Delano, do not come around every day. Does this feel like the golden ticket?
This definitely feels like the golden ticket. I mean, I've come in as a contender, and I became a challenger, and now I'm going to become a champion, or at least have the opportunity to become a champion, you know?
You're 25, he's 33. You can use your young guns, your youth, and make up for maybe what's happened in the past in the PFL. What do you do tonight? What do you think about? What do you think about doing to the Red King?
What I think about doing to the Red King is just going out there and fight him with everything. Last time I left some tools back at home, I brought all my tools with me. I packed them up, ready to go.
We cannot wait to see you fight tomorrow night. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers. Back to you, gents.
All right, we talked to the fighters before these fights, right? And Delano Taylor says this is going to be the passing of a torch. Rory MacDonald is a legend in the sport. He's a veteran, but he's still only 33 years old. And he says, just hold on, everybody. All right? If Delano Taylor, the quote from Rory was something like, if Delano Taylor's expecting the old, tired Rory MacDonald, he's got another thing coming. Does he still have what it takes to put away the young guns?
I think he does. You know, I think what has made Rory MacDonald one of the best welterweights in the world for many, many years now is the fact that he is so well-rounded. There's so many things he can do, and I think he would admit that he was a little bit too one-dimensional in that last fight and really just took it from a grappling standpoint. The reality is he's an excellent striker as well, and I think Delano Taylor is one of those guys where he's going to have to adapt. If the striking isn't working, he's got to go to the grappling. If the grappling's not working, he's going to have to go to the striking. So let's see if he learned his lesson from the last fight.
And let's hear from the Red King in his own words with Gareth.
Indeed, I'm here with MMA legend Rory MacDonald, Red King. Red is the country of Wales, remember. You're the favourite here. Is that pressure on you, Rory?
No, not at all. I don't ever pay attention to those kind of things. I'm just happy to be here. I'm looking forward to show my best tomorrow.
He will bring his best tomorrow, he says, because he's slipped up before. He's an alternate now. He's got the golden ticket. What do you have to do to put him away?
You know, I put in all the work before this fight and, you know, before the whole season. You know, I've been working constantly, feeling at my very best. You know, my last fight didn't go as planned either, so I need to redeem my last performance and be at my best.
They say that mein Hedlad Vanadai, land of my fathers, this is a fight city, Cardiff, and they will wake up when you walk into the arena tomorrow night. Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I love the fans here, and I'm looking forward to putting a show on for them.
We cannot wait to see you fight tomorrow night. Thank you, Rory. Back to you, Sean.
What a flex by Gareth there, speaking Welsh while we're in Wales.
He can do it all. I really can.
Come on. We can't do that. Will we see the old Rory MacDonald? Will we see a changing of the guard as Delano Taylor promised us? He's only 25, and he's already on this stage. Remember, all these semifinalists are one fight away from $1 million opportunity. Cardiff, Wales, our first UK show, beginning with qualifiers, 12 Eastern on ESPN+. Then we go to the semifinals at 2 Eastern on ESPN and simulcast on ESPN+ and ESPN Deportes. And the nightcap will begin 4:30 Eastern exclusively on ESPN+. Randy Couture, Kenny Florian, and Sean O'Connell will be there. Join us tomorrow night.
Anything from us, or is this just Sean?